Cats spend 2/3 of their life sleeping and the other third doing viral videos. Hi friends, Christian Chudo here, and today I want to talk about how to photograph waterfalls. Now, photographing waterfalls is always spectacular if you achieve the nice blurry effects of the flowing water, just like you see everywhere on the internet. It's not as easy as it seems. Sometimes it takes a little bit of effort, not that much, but today I'm gonna show you tips how to achieve success in photographing waterfalls. Tip number 1, proper planning. You need to plan your trip properly. Don't forget to take comfortable shoes, comfortable clothes, and don't forget water. You need to take your minimum equipment. Don't carry too much. If you need to do some hiking, remember, it's gonna be very difficult to carry heavy equipment. I've done all the mistakes in my experience. I actually forgot to take water on my last trip, and on my way back, hiking a steep slope, an old lady came to rescue, gave me some water and said, "Poor guy, you don't know what you're doing." I felt embarrassment for an entire week. Make sure you choose the right day and the right time. If you're going on a weekend like everyone else, that's gonna make it very hard for you to get the right shot and not to have people in front of you. Everyone is entitled to access to beauty, so no harm done, but sometimes you just want to punch people stepping into your shot and ruining it. So my advice to you, go on a Tuesday when kids are at school. Also, in terms of the time, make sure you get the proper golden hour, maybe the sunset, maybe the sunrise. Now, it's difficult to wake too early. Sunset is better. Just make sure you're at the right times when the light is diffused, so you do not have to deal with harsh shadows and the big contrast with the sky, if the sky is present and it will be in your shot. Tip number 3, pack up the minimum gear. Don't overdo it, don't take too much. Equipment is very heavy, as you know it will take a toll. Obviously, the minimum equipment is your camera, a wide lens, a sturdy tripod, and a neutral density filter. I would suggest getting a variable neutral density filter. I just discovered this recently online, and I believe it's absolutely magic. Just by rotating the rings, this will increase and decrease the amount of light that gets into your camera, so you can adjust it on the go to the shutter speed and the long exposure you want. Also remember, the tripod is important, because if you have a light tripod you can carry it faster, but the camera might have some vibration due to the wind. So you need to decide which one is the best. I would suggest the lighter the better, but still needs to be very sturdy to get the clean and very stable shot. Tip number 4, camera settings. Once your camera is on a tripod and you get the shot and nobody's in front of you, you set up your camera on time priority or manual. You want 2-3 seconds shutter speed, maybe 5, not longer than that. It won't make a difference. Obviously during the day that will be a challenge, so that's why you need the ND filter, and try the aperture as small as possible so you have a better sharpness. Long exposure shots for waterfalls are not about depth of field, so aperture must be the smallest possible. For that you need to play with the ISO settings and with the ND filter settings, as I just showed you, in order to get the proper exposure. Tip number 5, remember to compose your shot nicely. Use the rule of thirds vertically and horizontally, and make sure it all makes sense and the horizon is actually horizontal. Tip number 6, shoot raw in maximum resolution. Also try to expose for the sky and not the ground, if the sky will be in the picture, because usually that's the problem, and if you expose for the waterfall, the sky might be blown up. If you have clouds, you might call yourself lucky. You can play with a little bit of drama later in post-production, but exposing for the sky might be easier to do in post, and you can increase the exposure for the ground and the waterfall later. However, the best advice is take 3 exposures for each shot, one underexposed, one properly exposed and one overexposed, so you can play on choose the right one later, and also you might be lucky to get a nice high dynamic range in post-production as well. Take your time, take plenty of shots, because that will increase the chance to find a keeper later. Tip number 7, pack up and go. Take all the rubbish with you and do not get into conflict. You will feel the need to punch someone for ruining your shot, but even if unlikely a UFC champion or a boxer will be passionate about long exposure, you never know who you're dealing with. Stay calm and refrain from kicking ass. Tip number 8, go home safely, download your photos, select the ones you like, open the software, Lightroom or Photoshop or whatever software you use, play with the exposure, play with the white balance, play with the blacks, play with the whites, play with the shadows and the vibrance, and maybe a little bit of vignetting until you're happy. Remember to share them on Facebook, Twitter or on Instagram until all your friends will say wow. And don't forget to mention me, that because I saved your life and gave you the tips. Without me you couldn't have done this by yourself. Tip number 9 is smash that subscribe button on this channel and tell all your friends how great it is. Thank you for watching. Until I see you next time, I wish you happy shooting.